Mallett from Mallett Buildings. Thank you for joining me this afternoon. I've been out of pocket, as you can tell. You've been looking at Trent. That wasn't me. That was Trent. Okay? Look, today we're going to do the value of a in-house engineer. That's going to be today's episode. I'm going to go through some things first, but our engineer's here in the studio, and he is going to get into that. So let me get started. I always like to start out with $500 discount every week on healthcare workers, military personnel, educators, first responders. Folks, if my competitors are doing it, they're not telling anybody. What does that tell you? Is it real? Hey, Mr. Tackett, how you doing? Anyway, think about it. If they're offering this, why wouldn't they tell you they're doing it? You know, they say they do it, but then they don't tell everybody they do it, so I guess nobody asks. We tell you we're going to do it. And we do it every day, every week. It never fails. We appreciate all these people for what they do. Don't forget, you've got Tiger Cash, $1,000 Elite or Signature Building when you comment cash under any live video. So look, if you're looking at a building, now's the time to type in cash. Missed you too, Mr. Tackett. All right. Hey, you know, this is, they put this together since I've been gone. I think this is really a telltale story right here. How many companies are putting up 15 buildings at the same time in 2 states? Look at this, folks. We got a building going to be Koontz, Needville, San Leon, Buena, Liberty. We'll jump into Louisiana, Prairieville, Gonzales, Rain, Mons, Addis, Ragley, Lake Charles, Clinton, Opelousas. This goes on every week. Now, why aren't the others building as many buildings as us? They say they're as good as us. They sell the same thing as us. But they ain't got the crew power. They ain't got the ability to do this. Because look at the distance between all these jobs going on. Now let me tell you, let's not run from the fact that everybody wants to buy a Mallett building because it is the best building, and they wait for a Mallett building. People wait to get Mallett buildings. It's like the good restaurant. You know, if you have a good restaurant, the food's good, there's a line to get inside and get the food. Well, there's a line to buy a Mallett building. So if you're thinking about buying a building, remember, we're the best. We definitely are the best. We're the experts. We've been doing it longer than anybody, 26 years. So look, every week we put this up there just to show people the volume and the people, how diverse we are, all the areas, how much distance we cover. The rest of them they're not even close to us. So when you think about buying a building, think about the company that can pull this off. Because let me tell you something. That's a lot of logistics going on right there. All right, let's talk about our specials. Hey, we got that classic building. This is what my competitors sell. But I have more in my cheapest building, which is my classic building, which is what they sell, because they're all going to come, mine are going to come with 2x8 trusses, 5-on-12 roof pitch. They're not going to give you that. Mine comes standard with 26 gauge. Not all of them do that. The cable retention system, nobody's doing that. Standard scissor trusses. Now this is on my classic building. I ain't even got to the elite building, which I will shortly. But the bottom line, folks, on top of that, they can't catch me. I got 26 years in business. Licensed in Louisiana and Texas, you don't require a license. We're a state licensed residential commercial contractor, registered engineering firm, and you get my cell number when you buy a building. We're also licensed electrical contractors. That's why you see us offering electrical packages, and we're pretty much catching up. We're going to soon be doing that too. Maybe next week I'll fire that one back out there. But we're licensed electrical contractors too. Remember, 20 by 30 this week on special. We've changed over. It's $15,999, or you get a 30 by 40 for $29,999, 30 by 60 for $36,999, or 40 by 50 for $39,999. Always remember, we will price match anybody. But remember, it's going to be this building. If not, send me the bid or the spec sheet, and I will beat them by $1,000, apples to apples. They're going to tell you they're going to get all this stuff. Or they're going to tell you, I've been hearing lately, this is what they tell, oh, they have a better quality building, but our price is going to be better. Now tell me how they come up with that statement. I'd never say that. That means they're selling junk or something, I guess. I don't know what that means. But at Mallett, we sell quality and we'll beat price, apples to apples. And this building right here is way better than anything they sell. They don't sell this building. We sell it, and guess what? It's a way better building. Them 2x8 trusses, and you know they're going to say, well, you don't need them 2x8 trusses. You know, it's only 130 mile an hour wind load. Well, let me tell you something. You're going to wish you had those 2x8 trusses when that another law comes rolling around here. Y'all seen some of our commercials that show what happened down there at Darrell? Not only did it take on the wind, it's so close to the water, it had to have taken the push of the water. A tidal wave hitting that building, and it stood it. If you look at that commercial, I'm telling you, and right now we're doing some add-ons to that building. Proof is in the pudding, and that building says it all, I think. But anyway, let's move to the next thing. Let's see what else we got here today. All right, now let's talk about elite building, the best building in the business. The only building in the business that will go at 45 miles per hour, guaranteed. Trusses, 3 foot apart, not 5 foot apart, all 2x8s. And folks, it comes with a 6-inch slab, 4,000 PSI, not 3,000. All my buildings come with 4,000 PSI. So my concrete is 1.5 times stronger than what everybody else is doing, just for that thing right there alone. You see the difference in us and them? We're always looking to improve our buildings, not try to cheap you out of something so we can do the price thing on you. Because you pay in the long run with price. Look, price should equal the quality and the value what you get. You know, it's no different than a while ago when I was talking to someone. There's a difference in a Cadillac and a regular Chevrolet car, pickup, whatever it is. Why? It's what goes into this. Better warranties, better products. It offers more. Now, in the car business, it's more about luxury. In the building business, it's about taking on a storm. It's about, you know, why do we put gutters? So that you don't have the erosion problem, okay? We want to divert the water away from your building. It's better for your building. It always will be. Why do we put gutter brushes? To keep your gutters from rotting out with pine cones or whatever, pine needles, whatever you want to call it. Everything we do in a building is different in the car in only one respect. They're looking for luxury. We're looking for quality. And there's a reason for it. And the reason is so that you don't have those troubles, just like that 6-inch concrete. Way stronger than a 4-inch concrete. Why do we put it in that building? Because we're trying to build the best building in the business. And guess what? It is the best building in the business. Why do we put 4,000 PSI? Strength. Why do we put gutters? I just told you why. Why do we put continuous ridge vents? Well, there's a reason why. If you look at most buildings, they're going to have those either turbines, or they'll have like maybe 20 feet of aeration, and I forget what you call it now. I'm drawing a blank. I don't do this much like I used to. But you won't see nothing on top of this building. And I'm going to vent. If I got a 30 by 50, I'm going to have 100 feet of continuous ventilation underneath the roof cap. Value, value, value. Is that important? Of course it's important. When you get in your building, you want it to be at 180 degrees, 150 degrees, whatever. It'll drop that temperature 15 to 20 degrees. And you're working there, you're going to know it. Now, Zac screws, post protectors. That's all standard in this elite building. Let's look at these prices. Got that 30 by 50 by 12 for $43,998, 40 by 50 by 14 for $53,950, and a 40 by 60 for $61,538. Remember, we always use #1 kill-dried lumber. I tell you to be sure to check that because a lot of these guys are not doing that. They're telling you that, but they're not doing it. Be careful. Engineered 2x8 scissor trusses. The only company that puts a standard 2x8 scissor truss in all our buildings is Mallett. That separates us from the rest of them right off the bat, okay? 9-foot post spacing. Closer posts, stronger building. Engineered mono trusses, 5-on-12 roof pitch. Why? Aesthetically, but the real reason is the water is going to shed off the building a lot faster on 5-on-12 versus 3-on-12 or 4-on-12, okay? Now, all the things I'm telling you is because I'm trying to show you the value. When you look at the price of a 30 by 50 for $43,998, because you can't look at just the price. Look at what you get, because if I back up here, I don't have it. Well, I got a 30 by 60 for $36,999. It's cheaper, but there's a problem. You're not going to get all this. That's what makes the building cost more money. You're getting so much value. What do you think? That 6-inch slab, probably that's a couple of $1,000s. You start adding this stuff up, folks, and if you want, just look at price. You can, but you get what you pay for. You're going to get what you pay for. And the problem with this is when that storm comes, you're going to wish you had this. You won't get a second chance. And what's more expensive? to take a chance and knock it down, then you got to rebuild the building. Do it right the first time, and guess what? You won't have to worry about all that. Hold on a second. Somebody's trying to call me. I'll call them back. Now, right now, your choice, you can pick the size roll-up door at no extra charge, and we'll go high, 12, 14, or 16 to raise your building. That value is probably $7,000 to $8,000. Just those two things that I'm going to give to you free on this elite building. Remember, you can pick your either a 10 by 10, 12 by 12, 12 by 4, no extra cost, and you can go 12 foot, 14 foot, 16 feet, no extra charge. Okay? This is one hell of a value. Now we come back over here, we have 100, look, the elite building, 145 mile per hour, 26 gauge, all Mallett building. No 29 no more, all 26 gauge. Concrete in every hole. That's something else they don't do. Why do you need that? Think about it. It could possibly sink. So we put concrete under every post. We're the only company that does that. We're trying to make the building better than what it's ever been. We continue to try to find things to make our buildings different. If you walk into a Mallett building today, with everything we put in it, the elite building, I can tell you without a doubt, and you go walk in one of those others, you're going to say, I got to get that building. I'm telling you, and you know what? You can do that when you call us, because we got so many customers in our ambassador program and our referral program. They'll show you their building. They're proud to do that. Let's see what else we got here today. The Cajun Oasis. Hey, we make two of them now. We had the 20 by 30 by 12, but there was a big demand. Somebody said, can you do some bigger ones? So we did that. Now, you say, well, that's a lot. Well, it's not when you look at the value. What are you going to get? First of all, it is an elite building. Because you got all this power, all this value built into this building. Now, it's going to get a, where's that at? Where's your air conditioner? You're going to get you got a 5-ton HVAC unit upgrade. So we go from a 3-ton to a 5-ton for this price. You also, I think, get the electrical package too, don't you? Yep. Now, folks, that's a good buy. This is 1,500 square feet. Temperature controlled, insulated, and wired. Folks, that's $45, $46. Turnkey. That's turnkey. With a walk-through door, roll-up door. I don't know if we got a roll-up door in this. Do we? Yep, 2 10 by 10 roll-up doors too. Folks, if you're looking for something that you need to protect and then temperature control, have you looked to see what they charge to rent a temperature control cubicle? It'll cost you $400 or $500 a month. One without temperature control is going to cost you a couple of $100 a month. Why spend that money on a storage building? If you want to, like these small businesses, you want to take care of your records, you got the small one or you can go the big one. But folks, this is one hell of a deal. Nobody offers that. All right, let's see what else we got going on here today. All right, so I was telling you all about the Mallett Buildings Ambassador Program. So you got the buyer circle. This is the entry tier. You're going to get a testimony requirements. Give us a testimony video after you buy your building. Follow engagement Mallett on Facebook. Share comments at 4 posts per year. And refer 1 new building project. And what you're going to get? A quarterly gear drop, annual dinner with us and the team, Christmas gifts, social media recognition, exclusive ambassador newsletter. Now, you jump to the next level, which is the Premier Circle, mid-tier. Once again, complete all builder circle requirements, refer 3 new building projects per year, share 1 post per month, and attend 1 ambassador event per year. What you're going to get? All builder circle awards, business spotlight, Facebook live page, early access to new features and promos, quarterly raffle entries, private ambassador, networking group, and premier only merchandise. And then we get to the best one, the Legacy Club Elite Tier. Here, you're going to give me 5 new projects per year. You're going to participate in 1 Facebook Live per month, provide photos, videos, 2 per year, and stay active in the ambassador community. Rewards. Everything here, and then we're going to add bring a friend perk to the annual events, golden ticket, $500 off a new Mallett building per year, and it's transferable, by the way. And higher referral payouts at $400 per each instead of $200. So if you're retired, you're looking for a source of second income, and you got a Mallett building, you can make $400 if you get into this tier level and sell me 5 buildings. I'm going to pay you $400. I'll send the leads to you in your area because I get 400 or 500 a week. So if you need side income or you need a full-time, want to be a Mallett representative, ambassador on full tilt, give us a call. We want to show you a building because you're going to help us sell buildings and we're willing to pay you and take care of you. That's not counting all the perks that come with this, either one. So we're trying to get you to come on board and make some extra cash. Who doesn't need extra cash? Everybody needs extra cash. Now, let's see what else we got here today. I always like to talk about the red flags, years in business, Secretary of State, licensure, go to LSOBC, contractor violations, LSOBC, that's where they're going to find they've been convicted. Reviews on the BBB and Google, we got over 500, nobody's even close to us, and visit the contractor's facility. Now, I haven't been on in a while, and I always like to stick on this pretty hard. You know, I've been on the State Contractors Board for almost 15, 16 years. Folks, you don't follow this, you can have problems. There are horror stories out there that I get to see every month when I go to the meeting. During a storm, all kind of problems occur with people who are not meeting these requirements. Don't get caught up into price. Or, I can do it next week. Well, there's a reason why he's going to do it next week, because nobody wants to do business with him, because he builds shoddy work. Price, he might be using no telling what in that building. He has no reputation. If he's violating this, you're asking for trouble. You might get lucky. Then again, you might be one of the unlucky ones. I don't know. It's Russian roulette with these cats. Be careful. You know, ultimately, whether you buy from me or not, I highly suggest you do this, because I hate to visit or see you at the board crying or complaining because he left with my money, he didn't finish his work, shoddy work. There's all kinds of things can happen to you. Be cognizant of what you're dealing with. You can't say, we are on a different level than all of them. 26 years in business, A+ rating with the BBB, a major facility, our own trust plant, we're about through building the building, we're about to put a roll form plan in. I can go on and on. The number of reviews, number of buildings, experience, everything. We're a brand. Mallett Buildings is the brand. It's the top brand. You know, like LSU's got a brand for football, we got a brand for buildings. That's a fact. Been doing it 26 years. We are the brand. And we want to do business with you, and we want you to know that if you do business with us, we'll be very appreciative. In fact, I'll take this time to thank everybody who ever bought a building with me, and those that gave us the opportunity. We appreciate you. See what else we got here. Okay, so why would you choose someone over price when he doesn't have the quality product to give you a building that's going to last beyond your lifetime and into your child's and grandkids' lifetime? But let's look at the differences. My competitors, which is basically the classic, are going to sell you 6x6 posts, 2x6 trusses, not 2x8, 2x8 headers, not 2x12s, 26 gauge metal roof and walls, 1 walk-through door, 40-year warranty against fade, chalk, edge creep, and rust. That's what they offer. Over here, the Elite, 10-year workmanship, #1 kill dry treated lumber, 2x8 scissor trusses, 5-on-12 roof pitch, 2 free roll-up doors, and right now, you can pick your size. Free roof and wall insulation, 6-inch seamless gutters. Nobody else is offering that. 2 3x5 insulated windows, lifetime warranty against termites, rot, rust, and fungi. Now you would say, man, we're beating the hell out of it. Well, we're not through. Got a ways to go. How about this? We're also going to have continuous ridge vents. 6-inch slab with a 4,000 PSI. Way better product. Zack screws using all roof and wall metal to screw to the building. So we only use nails for tacking. Everything is wood screwed. Okay? Remote picture and video monitoring for inspections. Engineered cable retention system with a 6mm moisture barrier. Nobody else offers that cable retention system. That's what stops uplift. We do this stuff for a reason. Wait, I'm not through. It keeps going. Can you see the difference? Do you understand why this building is more valuable than the other building? I'm telling you and showing you why. So let's continue. 145 mile per hour wind load rating. I was talking to a customer yesterday or Saturday. And he said, all I'm interested in is it meets code and price. And I said, well, I'll tell you what you do. You give me a copy of the person that you got a bid from, and I will beat them apples to apples. Well, they built an Elite. I said, well, I ain't seen that in my lifetime, but send it to me, and I'll beat them by $1,000 because it's not possible. They can't get the 2x8 trusses. They can't. We're the only ones building those because we've got a truss plant. And there's a lot of other things. The cable, I mean, just all these things, they won't do it because if they did it, they would be $10,000 higher than me because they don't buy the volume we buy. And not interested in quality. We're interested in quality. Okay? Go look at a Mallett building, then go look at another building, and I promise you, you're going to say there's a big difference. I know that because I go in them. Now, post pads under every 6x6 post, we put concrete under every post. All metal screwed to the wood, post protector standard, skirt board standard, wrapped. And we will beat anybody that can say they're going to do this in writing, spec sheet, by $1,000. But you're not going to find that. You might find, what you're going to find is them try to sell you a classic building and try to tell you that they're selling you this and they're not. But when you look at the classic building, we're going to outpace them about on 5 items, important items. 2x8 trusses, 5-1-12 pitch, just to start out with. Continuous ridge vents. Also, the cable retention, the engineered cable retention system. Folks, there's no comparison about what we do and what they do. And we are worth the wait. We're building 14 to 15. This 15, last week I think it was 12. We put those, and look how far we're going out with these buildings. We have the ability to do the job. If we couldn't, we couldn't put up 15 buildings in a week and scatter ourselves on 2 states, because we're actually going to about 3 or 4. But this week we're in Texas and Louisiana, all over the place. With reviews to back up everything I'm saying. And a facility that the others don't even think, can't even come close to having. I can swallow at this place. So let's see what else we got. Oh, so it's my turn to quit. So I'm going to turn this over to the engineer, Darrell. Come on up. And I'm going to let, who closes? He closes? Good. He's going to close. I'm glad I got to come up here today. It's always nice to talk to y'all. Remember, if you have any questions, feel free to call us here at 337-214-0428. Or you can always call me at 337-515-2154. Remember, we want to earn your business, and we build the best building, and we are the experts. That's a fact. And if anybody don't believe me, come on up here. We'll have a lively discussion about who the best is and who the experts are. Once again, thank you. I'm going to turn it over to Darrell. He's going to hit some engineering. Darrell, take care. Take it over. Take over.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Darrell, the engineer here at Mallett. And, whenever I first started in the field of civil engineering, there were really 2 kinds of engineers that I knew of. One was a field engineer, and the other was an office engineer. And office engineers primarily did calculations, and field engineers spent their time outside doing inspection of work. And but what I found out was that there was a 3rd type of engineer, and that was an engineer that was involved in project management. And basically, project management means that you're going to do whatever you have to do to get the job permitted and under construction. And that involves doing calculations, but it also involves just coordinating things and facilitating things. And so that's basically what I do. That's what I've been doing for the last 20 years or so, because once you get the job designed, and which, when you're in college, that's the big part of it, is to make sure that it doesn't fall down and that it works properly. But once you get that done, there's a whole nother layer out there of things that have to be done in order to get the building permit. And the way that I function in my life is whenever somebody's trying to get their building permit, I drop whatever I'm doing in regards to calculations and things to help them do that, because once you reach that point, you've paid the money for the building, and now you're ready to put it up. And so you need whatever help you need in regards to responding to the permit office. And now that's something that has changed a lot over time in the 40 years or 39 years that I've been involved in this. Permit offices have become much more complex, and those of you that have built a number of structures, been the owner of a number of structures, whether it's houses or commercial or whatever, you know what I'm saying is true. And I just wanted to spend a little bit of time going through some of these things that I've been involved in recently here at Mallett that illustrate what I'm talking about. And so I'm saying the value of an in-house engineer, and I told the tech team that I would continue to tell my joke about in-house engineering versus out-house engineering until they laughed. And so I'm an in-house engineer, not an out-house engineer. But this project is in Abbeville, and whenever Mr. Hargrave went to get his building permit, they told him that the end walls of his building needed to be breakaway walls. And what a breakaway wall is when the water, theoretically, when Abbeville gets a horrendous flood and the water comes in the building, the permit office wants these walls to break away, to fly away. And I don't really know if that'll ever happen in Abbeville. I was involved in the preparation of plans at Port Fourchon, and we had several breakaway walls that broke away, and the metal wall panels blew out, and that was in Hurricane Ida was the last time that happened. But anyway, so I had to come up with a way to make these walls break away, and so that Mr. Hargrave could get his permit. And so I came up with this little detail, and we stamped it and sent it on, and Mr. Hargrave got his permit. And so because I'm an in-house engineer here at Mallett, whenever Mr. Hargrave called Mallett and the office and said that was the situation, and talked to Mr. Ferg, well, I immediately was able to handle that. It didn't take a week, it just took a day. And that's because I'm an in-house engineer. Now this next project is kind of something you may not have heard of. So this particular guy, his residence is on the edge of what the parish calls a floodway. And so there's a little branch running through there, or ditch or whatever, and theoretically, during some kind of horrendous flood, they were concerned that building a little building way on the edge there would raise the level of the floodway. And so they required an engineer to write a letter and stamp it to say that it wouldn't raise the level of the floodway. And so, once again, because I'm an in-house engineer, I looked at the situation, I looked at elevations of the land and this little creek, and was able to write that letter and move that permit forward. So that's just another thing. I've had to do that a couple of times. In a lot of places around the rivers of the state, they require no-rise certificates, and sometimes they require people to have a no-rise certificate when they're building a structure that's maybe a half a mile, maybe a mile from the river. And so, anyway, so that was that one. And this one was a Debbie Hogan in Bush, Louisiana. She got ready to put her building up, and they said that flood vents were required in her storage building. And I think I've told you this before, but the FEMA regulations, the federal government's regulations, which are enforced on all the parishes, they require that storage buildings have flood vents. A storage building, the finished floor elevation can be below base flood if you put flood vents in. So we had to come up with a proper number of flood vents and add that to the permit. And there you see are those little holes where theoretically when the water comes up, it'll go in that hole and go out the other hole, and everybody will be happy. And so that's another thing that I was involved in. Now, this particular project was a project in St. Tammany Parish where the permit office, they interpreted the code to say that if a structure was going to be built in a wind zone area or a high wind area, then plywood would be required on the roof. Well, actually, 2 layers of felt would be required on the roof. In order to put 2 layers of felt on the roof, it implies that you have to put plywood. And you know, our typical Mallett building, we don't have plywood on the roof. We have trusses at 3 foot on center, 5 foot on center, and we have metal panels that span. And so as a result of that, I got involved, and when I dug deeper into the code, it says that the high wind area is what the International Residential Code is 140 miles an hour. Well, this particular gentleman, even though he was in St. Tammany Parish, he was in the northern part of the parish, and his wind speed was 127 miles an hour, not 140 miles an hour. So I told the permit office that the plywood was not required. We went back and forth for a couple of days, and they relented, and we moved forward with that project. But once again, because I was an in-house engineer, I was able to jump on that and keep everything moving. And I think I got a couple more. So 2 more. So another thing that I do is I help resolve situations whenever the contractor fails to do something that's on the plans. Sometimes that happens. You know, life is not always perfect. And in one case, the contractor failed to put the concrete in the bottom of the hole, and so on the post. Now, the reason that's so important to put the concrete on the bottom of the post is to increase the surface area for the vertical load from the dead weight of the structure. That's the primary purpose of it. And if you it's simple math. If you have a 12-inch diameter hole that has concrete in the bottom, and you say pi r squared, and times an allowable bearing pressure of 1,500 pounds, 2,000 pounds, something like that, then that comes up with a load that post will sustain. Now, in actuality, that post will take more load than that because of skin friction, and but that's the parameters that we use. And so anyway, I performed some calculations to show that even though the bags of concrete weren't placed in the bottom of the hole, in this case, it would be sufficient. And then one last one. This is a project for the Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office, and they're building they're building a storage building for their tractors that cut the grass at the facility. And I mean, it's a very, very simple project. But because it's a commercial project, and because the permit offices have changed over the years, the project requires fire marshal submittal. So this building has to go to the fire marshal, for approval. And that's something that I do all the time, that I'm very familiar with. And once again, because I'm an in-house engineer, I was able, they didn't even know that that was the case, but the permit office required it, and I was able to jump on it and get it to the fire marshal and move that permit along. So the bottom line is, Mallett needs an in-house engineer. You need an in-house engineer. You need to work with somebody that has an in-house engineer so that your project will be permitted in a reasonably swift manner, depending on the permit office that you're dealing with. Well, that's the talk for today, and we'll see you next week.